Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the 24th part of What If Deku Was a Magical Girl Mascot, Quirk, Magical Girl Mascot. The author of this great fanfic is Emma. I will leave links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 24, Tenya's Choice. The moment that Ida saw Izuku run back to help Hachiko was the moment he started to admire him. He was kind and wanted to help everyone he could. And he was proud to be let on his secrets. To be the one friend that Izuku would tell when something came up. To be given that trust. To be honest, if it wasn't for the price of bonding with Izuku wasn't a gender bend, he would have done it. But now, the price was something he was willing to pay if it meant that not only he would live, but also the name Ingenium. When he went to visit his brother, he was asked to take on the name. Ida was conflicted, but while fighting Stain he took on the name, and it couldn't die. Midoriya. I will bond with you, said Ida. Izuku nodded. He turned to his animal form. Stain looked at them. Careful, his quirk works by cutting you, said the hero who was dressed like a Native American and went by the name Native. Shoto nodded as she readied her wand to protect the two. What does is his quirk? Asked Shoto. Some kind of paralysis quirk, said Native. Shoto nodded. Stain launched himself at Shoto, however Shoto just twirled her wand. Stain stood his ground as the wind tried to blow him away. Izuku! Yelled Shoto. At the same time Izuku finally produced the light. The light drifted towards Ida. However, he realized a problem. He was steadily growing weaker as he lost blood and he was still under the effect of Stain's quirk. Midoriya. I don't know if I can grab it, said Ida. Izuku's eyes widened. What? He said. I can't move, said Ida. Izuku began to shake. I can't turn back human when I'm making a bond, explained Izuku. I don't know what to. What? Asked Ida. Shoto focused on keeping Stain as bay, knowing what Izuku meant by he didn't know what to do. I.e., moving his body for him to make sure he grabbed the light. Stain managed to jump out of the wind and was ready to strike. He was about to attack Shoto, but she blocked with her wand. You came to help him even if your life is in danger? Asked Stain. Shoto didn't answer him. You two are true heroes, said Stain. Shoto still said nothing. Unlike him who came here for revenge, said Stain. Shoto just glared at Stain. Nearby Izuku shook as Ida could grab the light. Please, I need to save him, fought Izuku. That was when the light suddenly became brighter. Ida felt some of his strength returned. It wasn't much, but it was just enough to reach out and grab it. He was engulfed by a sky blue light. Stain, despite being locked with Shoto, stared in shock. As did Native. Ida on the other hand felt his body shift under the light as their strength returned comply. When the light died down, Ida was getting up, now female. Her magical girl costume consisted of armored top that was similar to her old costume adept with short sleeves and wore a light silver ruffled skirt. She wore armored angulate and armored knee-high boots that of course had holes for her engines. Over her eyes was a visor that was clearly replacing her glasses. On tropes of her head was some sort of armored hairband with a sky blue gem in the center. And throughout her hair was sky blue streaks. What? Asked Stain, confused. What the fuck? Said Native, confused. Are you okay? Asked Izuku, turning back into his human form. Ida nodded. It feels like I was never injured, she said. Ida flinched. It was hard not to thanks to her new higher-pitched voice. Izuku sighed when he said that flinch. It's okay, said Ida. I'm alive, and if it's the price I have to pay then I'll accept it. You saved his life but changed his body, said Stain. It was the only way to save his life, said Izuku, gritting his teeth. Even with this transformation, he is still the same person on the inside. A false hero, mocked Stain. Ida froze. He came here to kill me, explained Stain, another false hero. Shoto, however, refused to listen to him and blasted him with water, pushing him away. Don't listen to him, said Shoto. But it's true, said Ida. I came to Hosa to find him and take my revenge. Ida, said Izuku. But that doesn't mean I'm going to give up. I'm not going to waste my second chance, said Ida. Izuku nodded. They watched as Stain got up. We need a plan, said Shoto. If he cuts us, then he can use his quirk, said Ida. We need a plan to bypass it, said Izuku. I have an idea, said Native. Though he still couldn't move, the kid who could become a stuffed toy. It might not work with stuffed toys. Just because I look like a stuffed toy doesn't mean I'm a stuffed toy, muttered Izuku with a sweat drop. He looked at the two. I wish I could just make it just the three of us, but I still haven't figured it out, thought Izuku. That was when Ida and Shoto's gems glowed for a few seconds. What was that? Asked Shoto. I don't know, said Izuku. However, he turned on telepathy while looking at Ida as if saying, don't say anything yet. Hey, thought Izuku, things are going on, and well, I might have another partner. However, there weren't any reactions from the others. That was when Izuku paid attention to everything, and that's when he felt it. The only ones he could feel were Ida and Shoto. Well, he could still feel them in a sense, but it was like they weren't part of the conversation. I think I know what the glow was, thought Shoto. I just accidentally figured out how to finally exclude people from the teleplay, thought Izuku with his eye twitching. Ida was looking at Shoto. My mental voice is still male, she mentally explained. It should be the same for you. I see, thought Ida. Stain launched himself at them. However, Shoto used her steam to blind him. I don't know how long this hold, thought Shoto. We have to work together, thought Izuku. I have an idea to disarm him, but you have to distract him. Ida looked conflicted. Part of her wanted to weigh it wasn't this fight. However, another part realized that the moment she bonded with Izuku, it became their fight as well. So she kept quiet about it. I wouldn't advise you to use your wand, by the way. We really don't know what it will do, thought Izuku. Ida nodded. Hopefully either he or one of his sidekicks will show up soon, thought Shoto. I don't know, thought Izuku. Not with those monsters. Monsters? Asked Ida. The thing from the USJ, there's more of them here, thought Shoto. Ida began to sweat. We need to focus on him, thought Shoto. Ida nodded. That was when Stain had found them, thought the cloud, and tried to slice Shoto, who barely dodged. Ida grabbed Shoto by the arm. Hold on, thought Ida. Ida pushed herself to the fastest speed she could use without using reciprocal burst. However, she got quite the surprise when she did so. The speed matched reciprocal burst. But there weren't any problems. It's your power-up, thought Izuku. Amazing, thought Ida. I wouldn't use that move in this alleyway at the moment, thought Shoto. Who knows what might happen, thought Izuku. Ida nodded. Probably not a good idea to use something that gave him faster speeds when powered up like this in such a small space. I'll evade on my own, thought Shoto. Are you sure? Thought Ida. I'm sure, thought Shoto. This is a bad idea, thought Izuku. I can handle it, thought Shoto. As the steam cleared, both Shoto and Ida noticed that Stain was missing a couple knives, that the Izuku was nowhere to be found. Please tell me you know how to be stealthy in human form, thought Shoto. I'm good enough, thought Izuku, just keep distracting him. Both of them nodded. Shoto sent out some fire at him, but Stain dodged it. Ida ran towards him and managed to kick him hard, sending him into the wall. I didn't mean to kick him that hard, thought Ida. It's okay, thought Izuku. Stain managed to get up. How were able to hit that hard? Asked Stain. Ida didn't answer. You're stronger than you were before, said Stain. It's because of your transformation, isn't it? Don't tell him anything, thought Shoto. Stain looked around. Where is he? Asked Stain. You're not going to find him, said Shoto out loud. He's a stealth expert. That was when Stain noticed that one of the knives was floating out of its sheath. Oh no, thought Izuku. Stain looked around and saw where Izuku. Not good enough, said Stain. Grabbed the knife. He then sped to Izuku, who was so shocked by this he didn't move. Midoriya, thought Ida. Izuku, thought Shoto. Stain managed to cut Izuku's cheek. He then licked the blood off the knife. Izuku saw him swallow his blood as his body froze up and he was forced back into animal form. Sorry, thought Izuku, but I found out how his quirk works. What? Asked Ida. He has to swallow out blood. If he cuts you, make sure he doesn't swallow your blood, explained Izuku. Wait, is your blood sparkly in this form? Asked Ida. Noticed that the cut on Izuku's cheek seemed to be sparkly. Now's not the time for this, thought Izuku. He's right, thought Shoto. Both of them looked at Stain. Also, he vomits rainbows. We already knew his biology is weird, thought Shoto. Shoto, mentally sighed Izuku. Ida, on the other hand, sped towards Izuku and picked him up and placed him next to Native. Just hold him off as long as possible, thought Izuku. I will, thought Ida with a nod. As this was going, Shoto was once again using her wind attack against Stain. Shoto, thought Ida. Shoto nodded and stopped the wind attack so that Ida sped over and kick him again. Once Ida sped away, Shoto froze Stain to the ground. However, Stain was easily able to cut himself out. However, he noticed something. How? He asked. The two stared at him. I don't understand it. How are you two able to communicate without saying a word? Said Stain. The two looked at each other. Don't say a word. Both of them thought to each other. I don't think you needed to say that, mentally added Izuku. A false hero shouldn't have a connection like that, ranted Stain. I don't know what's going on, however something changed with that transformation. So you're still going to kill him? Asked Izuku, who felt something snap inside him when Stain said those things. Stain looked at the small plush you-like animal. What give you the right to choose who lives or dies? Asked Izuku. The world is filled with false heroes, said Stain. All of them seek fame and glory. So that give you the right to kill them? Asked Izuku. False heroes needs to be eliminated, growled out Stain. Some heroes do cause problems and should get punished, said Izuku, but that doesn't mean they should die. False heroes, said Stain. BTU. Izuku cut him off. No, said Izuku, Ida came after you in revenge. But that's not the only thing about him. He's a good person. He deeply cares about his family. And he was the first friend I ever made after I got my quirk that I didn't bond with first. He accepted my quirk after learning all the details. No one's perfect. But that doesn't mean they should die. Midoriya, thought Ida. You don't understand, said Stain. It sounds like you just have an impossible standard on true heroes. said Shoto. Honestly, Izuku, I wouldn't waste my breath on him. I doubt there is any hero he would consider a true hero. There is one. All Might, yelled Stain, he is a true hero. And the only one I will let kill me. He's insane. Thought Shoto, don't listen to what he has to say about this. Both Izuku and Ida understood there. Stain threw knives at both Shoto and Ida. Both of them cutting their arms. We can't let him get those knives, thought Ida. Shoto nodded. If he swallowed their blood, then it would be all over if Endeavor didn't show up, that is. I'm not going to waste my second chance, thought Ida. She ran towards where the knives were thrown and picked them up. Ida, thought Shoto. Stain ran towards Ida with his sword, but thankfully Shoto already used her wand, the knives covering them in ice. Stain glared at them. However, he still fought. He decided to focus on Shoto, not to kill her, but to put her under his quirk like he did Izuku. However, the problem was that Ida was still ready for the attack. Though admittingly Ida was getting used to her new speed. She was suited to using that speed as a now or never move. To use it regularly was just surreal. Still, she was using that new speed for hit and run moves against Stain while Shoto attacked him as well. However, during the fight Izuku noticed something. I can move again, thought Izuku, letting them know, I have an idea. Izuku didn't move as he told them his idea. The two of them nodded. Shoto once again used her steam attack. Haven't you learned not to block your sight from an opponent with superior speed? Asked Stain. However, the ground once again is covered in ice with his feet stuck to the ground. Izuku had managed to get up and turned to his human form. You ready? Mentally asked Izuku. I am, thought Ida with a nod. Izuku activated Tsuyu Quirk in order to jump before switching midair. Ida sprinted. As Stain had cut himself out of the ice, suddenly through the steam, both Ida and Izuku attack. Ida with a powerful kick while Izuku launched himself with an explosion. The two attacks hitting at once knocked him out. Shoto froze him as he passed out just to make sure. Is he out? Thought Izuku. He's out, thought Shoto with a nod. Native? Can you move? Asked Ida. Oh. I still can't, said Native. That's odd, said Shoto. I wonder. Thought Izuku, you would have still been under his quirk had you not bonded, but since it wasn't affecting you, it can't be the more people under its effect wasn't the case, perhaps it had to with blood type. Now's not the time for this, Izuku, sighed Shoto out loud. Oh, sorry, said Izuku, deciding to turn off telepathy. We find something more permanent to restrain Stain, said Shoto. That was when Ida noticed some rope in a nearby trash can. That's oddly covenant, said Izuku with a sweat drop. Thankfully Stain was still knocked, so Shoto unfroze him and they made sure that Stain wasn't carrying more knives. As they tied him up. I think we should use each other's given names from now, Izuku told Ida, we are partners now. I know, said Ida, or rather Tenya, Izuku. Tenya, said Izuku with a smile. She also knew that it would probably better idea to detransform. He learned a lot from their friendship, including how to detransform. She did so, however there was a problem when she did. She immediately transformed back into her magical girl form. Tenya, what's wrong? Asked Izuku. I think the costume is too tight, said Shoto. It is, sighed Tenya. Izuku and Native were both blushing at the implications. Tenya's old costume wasn't made for breasts after all. Thankfully during this time Native was no longer under the effects of the quirk. Are you all right? Asked Izuku. I'm fine, said Native as he got up. He looked at three. It's a miracle that the three of you aren't that injured, said Native. I meant after the fight. Let's not think too hard about that, said Izuku. They left the alleyway dragging Stain along. That was when Endeavor and several other heroes finally showed up. Shoto. Artemis, said Endeavor. However, that was when the various heroes noticed Stain. Wait. Yes, that's Stain, yelled one of them. You took down Stain? Asked another one in shock. You did give us permission to use our quirks, said Shoto. Endeavor then noticed Tenya and glared at him. You used that quirk in that way, said Endeavor. Izuku flinched when he said that. I'm one of their classmates, said Tenya, and I knew what I was getting into by bonding with Izuku. I see, muttered Endeavor. However, that was when they heard the flap of pair of wings. Oh no, said Izuku. It's back, yelled Shoto. None of them were able to react at the winged Nomo once again grabbed Izuku. However, it was also injured and bleeding thanks to its earlier injuries. And some of the blood landed on a hero's face. Why is it still after me? Yelled Izuku. He gritted his teeth while in midair. He didn't want to use that tactic again, but he knew he had to. Or he would have, had not Stain regained consciousness. And what was worse, he had a knife on allowed him to get free from the rather coinvent rope. He licked the blood of the Nomu from a hero's face, causing the Nomu to become paralyzed. It started to fall, and as it fell, Stain stabbed it in the brain. Izuku sat up and was shaking. This boy is a true hero, said Stain. Izuku stared to sweat. Everyone stared at Stain as his mask fell off. Everyone stared at Stain in shock as there was something about him. He and All Might are the true heroes. All others are fakes and frauds, trying to gain fame and power. The world needs to be purged of these false idols. That is the world I am seeking, yelled Stain. However, Stain seemed to freeze up, standing still. It was clear he was once again unconscious. And with that, Stain was defeated. However, there was a lot of things that had to be wrapped up, especially with Tenya's new changes and the fact that Tenya Ida was now a girl. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 25. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.